Hi guys, hope my video finds everyone doing well. So in today's video, I'm going to introduce you to eRev, a recently developed and released revenue recognition system by me, and eRev is completely self-managed, so you can download the system to your Windows machine by go to my website and go to eRev, and after you read the software agreement, you can download the software of the software trial for free. And in today's video, I'm going to introduce some of the eRev's overall functionalities, RevRec, database management, and also some of the reporting and journal entry functionalities. And if you want to purchase the program when the program becomes generally available, simply submit via the contact form on my website. There are two special notes I want to give to you. One, when Windows pop-up security warning appears when you first run the program, simply click More Information and click Run Anyway. As long as you download the program directly from Chipmunk RPA's website, you shouldn't need to worry about it. Please do not download the program on any other sources, just because it's not safe. When you first time load some of your templates into the database, if your machine is enabled with Windows EFS, your database will be encrypted by Windows. So this is to safeguard and protect your database file. So even if the hacker got your file, but if they don't have your private keys, they couldn't decrypt it. And at the meantime, when you first run the program, the Windows will ask you to export your private key. I actually will highly suggest you export your private key and then email the key to yourself for safekeeping. So in the event when you lost access to your work laptop, and you can still have an option to use your private key to decrypt the database you saved to a cloud drive somewhere. So this is just for your security, and if you doesn't like encryption functionality, you could let me know. I could just disable the encryption functionality in eRev as well. It's up to you. With this, let's get started. Go ahead, go to the website and do the download. If you click eRev, and this is the software trial license agreement. So read the software trial license agreement. In case you do not agree with such, then please do not download. So by downloading the eRev's Windows version, this is the trial version, and you are basically consent with this software trial agreement. And I also attached some of the sample UAT files for your testing, so you do not have to create your own template from scratch. So with this, let's download both files. And now I'm going to my download folder. So I will see two zip files downloaded on my drive. So all I need to do is to unzip the file. So to launch eRev, you simply need to double-click the application to launch the eRev. If your laptop is the first time running eRev, Windows might give you a notification of, are you sure you want to run the program, to make sure that you download the program from a safe source. So as long as you download the program directly from Chipmunk RPA's website, you can click More Info on the notification and click Run Anyway to tell the Windows to run this program. And after that, that's a one-time thing. After that, it shouldn't give you any more notifications going forward. So here you go, guys. This is how eRev looks like. eRev have basically 4 sections. Each section handles different functionalities. and I will start giving you introductions of what those buttons are doing one by one. Contract operation section is where you can manage your contract. Load SSPs basically can load new SSPs template for the products in your company. SSPs are also fair market values for your products, right? So, and this is needed for any revenue recognition system to perform appropriate transaction price allocation among different POBs within your contract. So you can, once you click this button, the system is going to ask you to browse to the templates. You can use a SKU SSP template to load your SSPs to each of your SKU. It doesn't have to be at the SKU level actually. You could assign SSPs to product family level or even higher. It's really up to you. And the load contracts button, intuitively, this is the button you can browse to your contract setup template. This is where in this template you can set up your POBs and you can use this to load your contract into the system. And in little time, as soon as you load the template, the system will automatically perform 606 or FRS 15 allocation for you. So you will actually have the allocation done after you load the contracts. And the third button, load delivery and billing events. So once you click here, you can just load using the contract progress tracking template to load your current period billings and revenue events, which is delivery events in here. It's very intuitive. Contract modifications, you can process prospective contract modifications or retrospective contract modifications. Depends on which button you choose. You can process using the same contract modification template. If you clicked the prospective contract mod using this template, the system will of course process the prospective contract modification. And if you're using the retro, it will process the contract mod in retro. So it really depends on which button you clicked. After that, there are also some of the database operations I want to quickly introduce to you. So there is a database which is SQLite database the system is using. You can quickly back up the database and restore from the latest backup. This button is very convenient if you misclicked or you load some wrong delivery or billing events. You want to start from your latest backup, just click this one button. This is essentially your undo button, right? And for most people out there, you probably just want to run one-time allocation to analyze how much revenue allocated to each of the performance obligations in your contract. So, and oftentimes you probably want to restart the whole database clean, so you can run different scenarios. And by clicking this, you can reset the database completely anytime you want. So if you have a colleague using eRev left the job or left the company or on maternity leave, you can easily take over his or her eRev database by clicking this button. So this button will allows you to take over their contract. So those are the database operations. The next one has a revenue accountant myself. Of course, I really care about the journal entries. If you click this button, it will ask you for a date range. So once you put the date range in, the journal entries will be summarized for those within these dates for you. So you can easily look at what are the journal entries got posted within the time period you entered. Contract history, same thing. If you want to pull contract histories for all of the contract, just enter a date range, all of the contract versions within the period you entered will pull out for you. And then the last button is basically showed you what are your latest contract status for every single contract out there within your database. Just click this button, it will generate a spreadsheet in the same folder of the eRev, and you can just quickly look at what is your current status for the current contract you have. With this, we can go ahead and start to play some of the eRev functionalities in real life. UAT template to see what are the data we set up, right? So if you look at the SKU SSP template, this is where I set up 7 SKUs with your list prices, stratifications, midpoint discount percentage, and SSP range with SSP versions and respective revenue accounts. So all of those is up to you how you would like to set those up. So everything is customizable because it's a spreadsheet template, right? And note the consulting is non-distinct, which is we will cover later in our contract model scenarios. And also material right, I set up the list price being 1, variable considerations, I set up list price to be 0, and which we will cover how to treat material right and variable considerations in later videos for those in-depth contract modification scenarios, those kind of things. So this is basically how you can set up your companies as POB SSPs. And pretty straightforward, right? So with this, let me close this up and bring up eRev. And I can click Load SSPs and browse to the UAT template and go to the SSP template and just double click. And seeing little time, all companies SSPs for the uploaded files are set up. If you want to add or update or re-upload SSPs to refresh, you can easily do so basically by re-edit your SSP template and then re-upload. So the SSP template, after you re-upload, will override your existing version in the database. So this is how you can updating SSPs. And then with this, you can also load some of the contracts. Here I set up some of the example contracts. On January 1st, I'm setting up contract number 1 and contract number 2. Contract 1 has 4 POBs, hardware, software consulting, and material right for the hardware. Contract 2 has also 3 POBs plus variable consideration. And this is where how you can set up the contract initially, and it asks you to provide some POB start date and end date for your later on reporting analysis, and you can put original selling price, original total quantities, and which entity you're selling this if your company has multiple business entities, and which SSP version you want to use to assign to each of the POBs. It's all up to you, right? And then you can assign deferred revenue account for each of the contract, and the unbilled AR account or the contract asset account for each of the contract as well. And here, note I said here, because this contract started January 1st, I set the current period to be January 1st, 2023. So with this, let me load the contracts. Go to contract setup UAT and double click this. See, almost no time, my contract is being set up. And at this point, the allocation is already done. So if I click latest contract status here, I will see the contracts being allocated by the system. For example, you can and see the original allocation for the original contract being performed immediately. And moreover, if you go to, because we click the latest contract status button, so if you go to the folder, the latest contract details are automatically exported in Excel for us. So this is where you can view everything related to your contract POBs, including how each POB is being allocated, and how much of the original allocation each POB has, and whether basically everything relates to the contract are included in this, and how much is the remaining. If you have deliveries, the remaining will change, right? So everything about the contract will be downloaded in the spreadsheet file. And also note this, after you load the contract, it basically logged your, have a timestamp on your action and provide you a time log for what you did. So this is how you load contracts. Let me get out, and now I can load some delivery and billing as well. If I go back to my template and look at the delivery and billing UATs, so I want to load some of the example deliveries and billings for each of the POBs. Note it's pretty straightforward. The only thing it asks is contract unique name, POB unique ID, and SKU name, and provide the current delivery and current billing. And that's it. So let me load this contracts, billing, and delivery events. We'll ask you enter current period in this format for delivery and billing upload. So I said I want to enter it as January 31st. Click OK, and see it was uploaded basically in very little time. Now, if I click my latest contract status, let me go back to the eRev file and see my latest contract status now. The current deliveries and current rev rec and current billings all populated up, right? So this is how you done rev rec essentially, just by clicking a couple buttons and browsing to a couple of templates you have. Very straightforward, right? And if you want the journal entries, click run the journal entries, enter the start date. I want the January journal entries, so I will enter 2023 01/01 to 2023 01/31. Once I click OK, it should give me a summary of how much of the journal entries for each account. So contract level accounts such as deferred revenue or contract assets or unbilled AR basically showing up contract 1. And for the rest, it's showing at the POB level what those ones are, and also it gives you how much revenues you're recognizing for each. So, and it also automatically save an Excel file for the journal entry in case you want to easily upload the journal entry to your ERP or your GL system. That's about how eRev works in general. And in the next couple of videos, I will show you more advanced functionalities, how to process contract modifications, how to set up material rights, how to set up variable considerations, and also like how to manage your databases in the following videos as well. So thank you guys for watching.